Majin Ma Corja. Hello everybody. Majin Day Luan Arish. It's Monday morning again. It's Ian Tucklaw at Devine and Nullig in you. It's the 8th of December, so it's the start of the Christmas season. So it's normally, as we used to call it back in the day, Farmer's Day. Okay, so my progress report here is I have my radius here that I can now apply to get the curvature on the corners. The length of this table is already fixed in its closed position, but I have to narrow it down. Why? To get the proportion. Now, proportion is the fundamental block in design. It's so important that if the eye picks up on something or something gets disturbed, if you're uneasy about something, you look at something out in nature, in the built environment, you'll find that it's normally the proportion that's incorrect. So we intuitively have it, but we tend to have it educated out of us. In other words, we lose the muscle for it. So it's a matter of keep practicing that muscle in order to maintain a strong sense of proportion. So everything I would do, that's the thing I would lose sleep over the most, or ponder more and more and more, is the proportion, getting the proportion right. It's so fundamental to good design. We have a few ways of doing that. We can steal from nature, which is fantastic. It's always great to have a guide, and nature is the best teacher out there. We get this thing called the Fibonacci sequence, which is derived from nature, which is a sequence that you'll see on the spiral of a sunflower or at the back of a shell. You'll see that spiral curve. And that comes from the numbers then. The numbers come from that, sorry. You have that sequence there of numbers. And we tend towards 1 is to 1.618 simply by dividing the smaller number by the bigger number, and we'll tend towards that number. We get the numbers simply by adding the two previous ones together to get the next number. So 3 and 2 is 5, and 5 and 3 is 8, and so on ad infinitum. So because it's a irrational number, it goes on forever. The second one we might use then is what's called root 2, and that effectively is 1 unit and 1 unit. It's a square with a diagonal, and we get the square root of 2. So we could use that as the width, and then the diagonal would become the length of the table. In my case, I'm using what's called a silver ratio, or close on it. The Fibonacci doesn't work for a tabletop, not that often, and neither does the square root of 2. So I look for a happy medium. And I go after this one here, I'm using this one, or close on it, if I go to this side. And that's what's called a silver ratio, which it's a ratio of 1 unit to 1.25 or 1.3. And that's what I've used for the tabletop here. But by and large, I will always go with the intuition inside me first. And then when I have it done that way, I'll check the maths on it to see if the maths add up, to see if I'm anywhere close to the 3 I've just shown you there. Now, that might seem like a lot of useless information to some people. However, if that table, when it's in position, was too wide for its length, people would see it straight away. And then they say, who made that? So proportion is hugely, hugely important. So it's an innate part of our being. Trust in proportion, trust in yourself, and then apply it accordingly. And you end up with bingo. So, Sinead Dunlawn, you. Hope that's useful to some of you out there. I'm ready to proceed now. My top is done. I can open off the clamps and proceed to get the rest of it ready for polishing. So that's a dry fit. Sinead Dunlawn, you. That's all I'll show for today. Mahuas fekin, good on you for looking. Agus fekin tu galua. We'll see you soon. Slán go fóill and tug the bugé.